Oh, the prostitutes collective have been quite vociferous about this, saying that in fact there's a danger that you glamorise.
Yeah, I know,
a lot of people get into this because of drugs, because of poverty, or whatever.
Well, no, I mean the side that we see is, you know, it's very different. It's sex trafficking, as we know, drug-related problems, and murder, and all of that stuff. And it's a very different take, and it's one woman's story. But you know, it does make me nervous being part of something like this, because it is quite a controversial subject matter. And
were you warned off it by any of your friends?
By everyone.
Really?
Yeah.
What did they say to you?
My closest friends were worried and concerned about what, you know, the nature of the show, what it would do to my soul. They were thinking, you know, how can you be part of that every day and come home and feel clean? I didn't feel that clean for a while, you know. I mean, it's quite full on, and it's quite an alien world, well, completely alien world to me. So it's quite hard to fathom.
And how do you? I mean, you've done nude scenes before, but I mean, there's a great degree of nudity, and it's full on bonking in this, isn't it?
It is. No, you're right. Let's not be shy.
No, let's not dance around this subject.
Let's not dance around.
So I mean, that
full on.
I mean, how difficult was that for you to do?
Really difficult. Yeah. But like I said before, it's amazing how normal those things become. You know, I hope that doesn't sound rude, but it's funny, you're stood there in your underwear and it's all it just makes you feel anxious, really anxious. And then towards the end of the shoot, you're like, no, you know what, I don't need the dressing gown. I'm quite happy to sit here. I just need to just chill out for a moment. And, you know, it's... But it's you know, it's strange. It's an extraordinary job.
That boy that you met there in the bar, Daniel. I mean, you fancy him. You fall for him.
Yeah.
Did the woman say that this happens?
That does happen. Yeah.
Because it's supposed not to happen, isn't it? There's this detachment between.
Yeah. It's, you know, they try and be emotionally detached endlessly, but sometimes that can. I mean, but also we're not. We've adapted it slightly, so it's not. I'm not playing Belle as she is. We've changed it slightly. So there are moments that we've touched on that aren't in the book.
Quite obviously, these girls, and we're talking about these girls who operate at the top end of the market, they've got a very they're very aware of their body image. They're not ashamed of it. They're quite the opposite.
They're body confident.
That's right, the body. What about yourself? I mean, that again, it would seem to me would surely be a problem you'd have to overcome in this, particularly having read your autobiography, which came out last year. Which you talked about your anorexia, and one would imagine that would have made it even more difficult, maybe, to do what you had to do.
Yeah, I suppose so. Although it's, you know, I'm quite over that now.
Yes.
I mean, it's never completely gone. It's always kind of standing in the shadows, waiting to emerge. But it's, but I felt quite cool about the whole thing. Surprisingly, I didn't think I'd react in that way, but you know, obviously when you take on a job playing a high-class hooker, there will be a certain level of nudity required. So you sort of deal with that in the early days, you know.
Yes.
And then you get quite used to it, and then you're like, woo, look at me, I'm naked. It wasn't quite like that. That's an exaggeration.
Going back to that anorexic story of yours, I mean, that was when you were in the pop industry, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And why was it? Why are you able to rationally? You say you're through it now, so you've thought about it quite obviously. Why did it happen? What's the process?
Well, I think it's. I can only really put it down to a control issue when you feel like your life is spiraling out of control and you're just clutching at straws, basically. And every single day was mapped out for me, and so I think that's what started it. Was me going, right, well, you can't control what I put in my body, so. Haha, I'm not going to put anything in my body, and that's my, you know, that's for me. It's one thing for me, and I think that's how it started. You know,
but
when you trace it back.
Why pick on your body to take it out of, in a sense?
I don't know.
It's a strange process.
It is a strange process. It's a strange kind of addiction. It's one that it's very hard for people to understand.
What do you do?